Right now, there is no shortage of great campaign settings for fantasy tabletop RPGs, but there are a lot of campaign settings out there that try to do all kinds of different things within one campaign setting. They often have Viking type gameplay in the north, they have the deserts in the south, they have European fantasy stuff in the center, but sometimes you just want something a little bit more focused around one idea or one concept, and that is exactly where Banners of Honor comes in. Hi there fellow roleplayers and game masters, my name is Mr. Drosk, and today I want to talk about Banners of Honor by Kefa Studios again. Yes, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know that like a year and a half ago or something like that, I talked about a Kickstarter called Banners of Honor, which is this book. It ended up being finished, it ended up being distributed, and it ended up on my doorstep, well, digital doorstep anyway, and that has been a while ago, and I've been meaning to talk about this product for a while, but I found that right now was the perfect time. Because you can now get this for a really good price. Because Kefa Studios right now is doing a new Kickstarter called the Complete Guide to Jousting for 5th edition, which you can back for, I don't know, $20 or something like that. Link in the description below. And you can get Banners of Honor together with that as a sort of add-on thing for a really good price. And Banners of Honor is something really, really special. It is a really cool campaign setting and adventure in itself. It is more like that kind of campaign setting that is presented like one big adventure and one big thing and overarching plot that is going on. But what it does best for me is, although it's a great campaign setting, like there's great cities, there's great towns, there's great NPCs, there's great everything that you expect from a campaign setting. Also, the art is really special in this one. The main thing that I like about this is its focus on knights, chivalry, that kind of stuff, like protecting the weak and riding your horse into a town and defeating the bad guys, and that kind of like Western European fantasy knight thing that we all know and love. Kefa Studios did a really good job of nailing down that feeling of that. They have a few mechanics in place to really like take your players into that idea and really steer them into that direction. But the main feeling of Chiral or Chiral or Chiral or Chiral or whatever, however you want to pronounce it, is it's a knights and chivalry type game. Now I want to talk about a few things here. It is not like a super deep review. This is more like I want to talk about like the overarching thing that is going on in this world, and then a few mechanics they have in place in order to make all that happen. Now, something very important, the jousting rules in here are really great, right? So there is a jousting rules in here somewhere. It's something that I fell in love with the first time, like a long time ago when I read it, and they are now, for their current Kickstarter, they're now taking those jousting rules and expanding upon those rules and building an entire book out of that. So you can have these entire jousting tournaments and side activities and archery tournaments and intrigues and political stuff going on. And it is all with like the same feeling that you get from Banners of Honor, the world of Chiral. So without further ado, let's get into the lore. So this is the world of Chiral, and your players kinda come here because there is a storm on their ship and they land on the banks of Chiral, and then suddenly they find themselves in this new kingdom that has new rules and new political systems and new stuff going on, and they need to find their way in and around the world of Chiral. So it is kind of that, and that is kind of like a thing that is kind of a little bit overused and maybe a little bit cliche, but that is why I absolutely love it. I love those kinds of cliches. Now, I'm going to completely simplify and murder the feeling and the plot and the lore of this world, but I just want you to get the main idea of it, right? So there was this lady Cassandar. Well, she's probably still alive, but she disappeared. And what her job was in and around the world of Chiral is she had a sword called the Kingmaker. And what she did was every time when a king died or disappeared or whatever, she made a new king, and she and the sword, maybe it was the sword, maybe it was she, with the sword decided who became the new king. But because of the world of Chiral, a lot of like political intrigue happened and people started fighting amongst each other, and like the chivalry code that has been like up for decades upon decades, there were a lot of people like breaking those codes and not being honorable and that kind of stuff. She just got out of there. She's just gone, right? Basically, she's gone. So now there is no Lady Cassandra, and there is no Kingmaker. As a matter of fact, the Kingmaker, the sword itself, is an artifact. It's in here as a magic weapon, but it is broken into like, I don't know, X amount of pieces, and they are scattered all across Chiral. Hence, there is this adventure for the players to go and grab all of these pieces, and then you want to find Lady Cassandra. Well, if you're the good guy and you want to do that, that is an option for you. You want to find Lady Cassandra or help the people who are trying to find Lady Cassandra to bring the Kingmaker back and to make a new king. Because right now, Chiral is kingless, and it is split up in two parts. There's two people basically think they're like, I should be on the throne to the northeast, southwest of the world. Right here, there are the people who follow the son of the previous king. Now, in Chiral, if you are the son of the previous king, you're not necessarily becoming the new king. So, but he's like, hey man, there is no kingmaker, whatever. I'm the son of the king. The previous king made like a lot of mistakes, and I want to right those. So a lot of people follow that person. And this son has basically lords of Chiral everywhere, and every lord has a bunch of knights and servants who follow that lord. So this king, self-proclaimed king, whatever, wants the fellowship or loyalty of those lords, so they gain the loyalty of those knights. Basically, same idea on the eastern side. On the eastern side, there is basically a new. It's a new belief system, or whatever you want to call it. There is this belief system. There's this priest kind of character or whatever. They think they should be the new king, and it's the same thing. They're trying to make like gain the favor of different lords with their knights and all that stuff. So you get this world with all kinds of lords, with their houses, with their knights, and these lords are always in like this political thing where they talk to each other and they're like, I want to pledge my loyalty there, I want to pledge my loyalty there, all of that stuff, right? And almost every place in Chiral is at least somewhat loyal to one of those two parties, basically. There's like a few things where that's not necessarily true, but like in the grand scheme of things. And there was only Dambridge. Dambridge is an incredibly cool city, an incredibly cool fleshed out city that is functions as a bridge over this river that splits the two parts of the world in two, and it is a neutral thing. So of course all of the lords on one side are trying to gain the favor of Dambridge, and all the other lords on the other side are trying to gain the favor of Dambridge. And also Dambridge, if you're a knight and you're alone, or there's like 2 or 3 of you, they will let you pass. But if you're like an entire army, they won't let you pass. Or there isn't like these full out wars going on. There's more like these small intrigue, Game of Thrones type of stuff going on, right? That is the base of it. There's one more important thing. There is a third party who are called, I need to peek right here, it's the Scroll Keepers. Are they called? They're called the Scroll Keepers, basically. And they are basically looking for Lady Cassandra, because they want Lady Cassandra to come back. They want to reshape the sword, the Kingmaker, and then bring the Kingmaker back so that there could be a new king, so that Lady Cassandra can make a new king, so that Chiral falls back into place. And that brings me almost 10 minutes into the video, and I haven't been further than the map of Chiral yet, so let's talk about how that Kefa Studios does all of this stuff. So there's a lot of like knighty stuff and chivalry type stuff going on, because that is just how the world of Chiral is built. There's different lords, different regions, there's different like people and houses, and they all have different codes, but the world in itself is like all of the knights, to whoever whenever you are sworn your loyalty, you still are a knight and you have to obey to certain rules. Otherwise, you lose your honor and all of that stuff. And to do that, Kefa Studios basically has a honor and loyalty system. Banners of Honor uses 2 unique optional rules throughout the adventure. They call it an adventure. It is an adventure, but I personally read it more like a campaign setting than an adventure. I see all of the adventure stuff in here as like an optional path. I know that sounds really weird, but I see it more as a really cool campaign setting in itself that I can build my own adventure in. That is just me as a game master, although the adventure is great. Honor to measure the hearts of the characters in the eyes of the people of Kiral, and loyalty to track how each of the 2 illegitimate kings of Kiral feels about the decisions they have made. So basically, there's an honor and a loyalty system. There are 2 really straightforward, kind of basic optional rule system, but they get the job done. So honor is utilized as a 7th ability score for all player characters. So you have strength, constitution, strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, and then there is honor, which is really like a 7th ability score. It uses a measure of how well thought of the character is by NPCs who follow the chivalry code of Kiral. Each player character begins the game with a base honor system score of 10, and this score is affected by modifiers as per the rules of the game. The GM may ask the players to increase or decrease their honor at the end of any adventure day based on their character's actions on that particular day. So basically, your character's honor score influences how others in the world perceive you. Refer to the table below. Right, so here's the honor system. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit and then I'm gonna check if you guys can still see this. Just zoom into the PDF a little bit and then see what that did for you. That probably still worked. That still worked, right? Just let me yeah. So honor system, you start on a 10, which is 9 to 11. The honor of the characters is relatively unknown. Then the more honor you gain, you begin developing a reputation as an honest and decent person. Knights may wish to test themselves against you, which is really important because that is also part of knighthood, is that a word? Knighthood, where other knights, not necessarily enemy knights, but there might be even like knights within your thingy, within your house or whatever thing you are sworn to, who want to test their strength against you. They might want to spar with you, have a duel with you, not necessarily to the last man standing, whatever, or jousting, link description below, plugging. Then you can get even higher advantage on all charisma based checks when interacting with knights. Your reputation is that of a brave hero and you're widely known as easily recognized. Nice. Of course, also goes into the minus. You begin developing a reputation of untrustworthy scoundrel. Knights may wish to teach you a lesson. This is where other knights, even those of your house, come in and murder you. For example, you've sworn your allegiance to a certain lord of Kiral, and they have some rules, and you just go out adventuring with your party, and you break the one rule after another, and of course, other knights from your house might come to try to find you, to kind of like teach you a lesson, maybe even outright kill you. There is a chivalric code of Kiral, which is like a set of rules that you need to follow if you decide to play a knight of Kiral. Thou shalt conduct thyself as an honest and honorable person. So that's the honor system. There's also honor checks. So certain situations in the adventure may call for an honor check, or an honor check may be called for at any time at GM's discretion. An honor check is treated as the same. If the character's honor score is greater than the DC of the check, they automatically succeed. If the character's honor score is equal to the less than the DC of the check, the player rolls a d20 and applies any appropriate positive or negative modifier. So these honor checks, it's more like in the story, like in the adventure itself. There are places where you might be interacting with a person, with another person, with maybe somebody who's like above you, and you want a favor from them. The GM might, instead of you rolling, I don't know, a charisma check or whatever, you could roll a honor check, and and then see if you have just the right amount of honor in order for them to give you the benefit of the doubt and give you that one favor, basically. And then there is the loyalty system, a very easy to track and easy to follow system again. And that is what I like about this book, what I like a lot about a lot of the rules in this book. They're optional rules, but they're only like 2 pages or 1 or 2 pages long, and they are really simple for your players to follow, and they don't give you like a bunch of overhead. A lot of times when I read optional rules for 5th edition, there is this gigantic amount of overhead, and only a few companies really do it well. And that's Global Press, Nord Games, Loresmith does it well. There's Jetpack 7 and there's Kefa Studios who does that very well. So the loyalty system is how dedicated the characters are to both King Ethred or King Bastet. So basically there's these 2 kings that I talked about in the lore section of this video. There are probably timestamps in this video, so you can check that out if you want. Basically there's 2 kings. You start at 0 for both kings, but you can gain points for both kings, and if you gain points, you can then become first you have let's see, you're unknown, trusted ally, knighthood, lordship. That is the highest rank, so it's unknown, trusted ally, knighthood, and lordship. But you can also go into the minus, which is suspected enemy, and then enemy of the crown, which you don't want to be. So basically here there are a bunch of actions and events that you can do as a player, as a character, in order to get a higher ranking or a lower ranking for both kings. Now, of course, this is all to the GM's discretion. If you as a GM find that somebody does something that kind of breaks the code, you can also like take 1 point away from them. Or if they kind of do something very little extra thingy for the people of a certain town that they rescued, you might just give them like 1 little extra point. That is at the GM's discretion. It's still a tabletop RPG. You can do whatever you want. So, for example, completing important tasks on behalf of the king, that's +1. If you want a +5, if the character swears an oath to serve the king, you get a +5, right? Being seen carrying the enemy's king banner is a -5. So basically, if you swear an oath for 1 king, you get a +5. But swearing an oath comes with like a lot of like, I don't know, you might have a mantle that has the logo of the king stamped on it, on your chest or on your helmet. You might have a banner stuck and right here on your horse with this big banner. Somebody sees that, you sworn that oath, you get a -5 for the other king, that kind of stuff. And then they talk about what lordship is, what knighthood is, trusted ally is, unknown, suspected enemy, and enemy of the crown. Really simple, but really cool. So you have your player character, I don't know, just a fighter or whatever, and you have like these 6 ability scores and honor. Honor is 1 more ability score, basically. But then you also have loyalty, and it becomes like this scale type thing. You can always try to be like a middle ground, this soldier of the gray zone. Or you can go full to the east or full to the west, whatever you as a player or as a party, more importantly, decide to do. Now, since this book is 372 pages thick and there's much more to talk about, I've decided to split this review up into different videos, probably 2 or 3 videos, because there's much more to talk about and I want to talk more about Banners of Honor. If you want to see that on my channel, hit the thumbs up under this video, put in the comments what aspect of this world, of this adventure you want me to talk about in my future video, and I will take that to heart and try to answer as many questions as I can in the next video, because there is the city of Dambridge that I really want to talk about. It's a really cool city. It's a neutral bridge over the river that literally splits 2 like factions that are at war with each other, that splits them up, and there's a city in between, and they're like, nope, no open warfare, only chivalry kind of stuff. There is, as you can see, there are monsters and NPCs, there's maps of everything, magic items, like of course the Kingseeker. Yeah, there's just much more to talk about. There's character sheets. Yeah, There's just much more to talk about that I want to talk about in my future video for Banners of Honor. If you're interested in this, do not buy it off of any website other than Kickstarter for the next 48 hours at least, because link in the description below, you can back their new Kickstarter, complete guide to Jousting, where they take the Jousting rules from this book. They have an entire section, where is it? They have an entire section on Jousting rules, but they are going to build a full book out of that. You need to check that out. You can back that and then also buy Banners of Honor as a little add-on, as a little extra. Make sure to check that out, and until next video, bye-bye.